We'll get started with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim YatkripatamahamVande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramanandamadavam Krishna Chaitanyam Ishwaram Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskritya, Naram Chaiva Narottamam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Tato Jayam Mudirayet, Nashtaprayeshu Abhatreshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Bhagavatyuttama Shloke, Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki, Krishnaya Vasudevaya, Devaki Nandanaya Cha, Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Nama. Hare Krishna. So we are continuing a study of Bhakti Vaibhav, and currently we are in this chapter, Punishment and Reward of Kali. So what happened was, Parikshit Maharaj, he once observed a Shudra, a lower caste person, who was dressed like a king, beating a cow and bull with a club who didn't have an owner. So seeing that the bull was as white as a lotus flower and the bull was terrified of the Shudra who was beating him, he was standing on one leg, trembling and urinating, and seeing this, Maharaj Parikshit was very, very disturbed. At the same time, the cow was also with a very sad face, she was crying. So Maharaj Parikshit, who was a great Kshatriya, he started inquiring unto the bull. He asked, "Who are you? You appear very strong, and you dare to kill within my protection?" He asks the personification of Kali. And he tells the personification of Kali, "You pose yourself to be a godly man, but your deeds are opposing the qualities of a godly man." And he says, "You're a rogue. How can you beat the cow and the bull, that too, when the descendant of Arjuna is ruling this world?" And then Maharaj Parikshit, he looked at the bull and he asked, "O bull, who are you? You are as white as a lotus. Are you a demigod? It appears that you have lost your three legs and you're moving only on one leg. So, are you a demigod who has come here in the form of a bull?" And then he says, "O son of Surabhi, please don't lament and don't fear this horrible Shudra who's torturing you. And I'm the ruler, I'm the subduer of all these envious men. So there is no cause for you to cry. Everything will be good for you. I will offer protection." So this is the nature of a righteous king. And he said, "I will give you protection." So when Maharaj Parikshit questioned the bull like this, the son of Surabhi, who was standing like this, he began to answer. He said, "Actually, there are many philosophers who come up with different theories for the cause of their suffering. But I do not see the cause of my suffering very clearly." And he mentioned some of the philosophies. Some people, they say karma is everything. Some people, they say the effect of planets is everything. Some people, they just say it is all the will of the Lord. So whatever it may be, I don't know the cause of my suffering. Whatever it is, I'm accepting my situation. Tatenu kampam, we saw that. So Emperor Parikshit, he heard this personality of religion speak like this, and he was very, very satisfied with the way he spoke. And he said, "I'm sure you are the embodiment of religion because no one else can speak like this. And the Lord's energies are inconceivable. And it is difficult to understand why certain things happen just by mental speculation." He says, in the age of Satya, you had your four legs, and the four principles are austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. But then among these four legs, three legs are gone. Why? Due to pride, lust for women, and intoxication. And Prabhupada very nicely, in the next purport, he maps this. He says, By pride, either artificial or real, the resultant action of austerity is spoiled. So, austerity is spoiled by what? By pride. By too much affection for female association, obviously cleanliness is spoiled. By too much addiction to intoxication, mercy is spoiled. And by too much lying propaganda, truthfulness is spoiled. Then the standard question that is asked is, what about killing animals? What about meat eating? And the answer given by Chakravarti Pad is that when one indulges in killing animals, then all four qualities are spoiled. Satya, Dana, Daya, Tapa, everything. Everything, yeah, all the four, that is cleanliness, cleanliness, austerity, what are the four? Sorry. Satya, Danam, Tapa, Shaucham, correct? So these four, Tapa, Saucham, Daya, Satyam. Okay. Dhanam, I said, okay. Tapa, Saucham, Daya, Satyam. I should remember this correctly. Okay. So these four are spoiled, and we saw how the resultant effect is. Okay. And we also did a little brainstorming in our previous session of what generally we hear, and then how Prabhupada and Chakravarti Pad has actually explained it to be. Okay. And then he says, now you have only one leg, only truthfulness is remaining, and you're simply hopping along with this truthfulness. And gradually in Kali, this truthfulness is also going to diminish. It is not going to last long, it is going to diminish. And when the personality of Godhead was there, everything was fine, everything was protected by his transcendental footprints. But then look at the condition now. The cow, Mother Earth, she is crying with tears in her eyes because she is going to be enjoyed by lower class rulers. And Parikshit, who could fight thousands and thousands of enemies single handedly, he pacified the personality of religion and earth, and then he took up his sword to kill the personality of Kali, who was the cause of all this problem. So when he raised his sword at that time, what happened? At once, this personality of Kali, though he was dressed like a king, he abandoned the dress of a king under pressure of fear. It was fear. By fear, looking at the sword of Parikshit Maharaj, he bowed down, and under pressure of fear, he surrendered unto him by bowing down his head. So, what do you do when someone surrenders? We discussed that in the previous class as well. And immediately, they should be forgiven. They should not be punished. I mean, in the sense, they should not be killed. But then we know there are other ways of punishing. Like so many times we have seen in scriptures, if the opponent is not to be killed, then sometimes a funny haircut is given, like in the case of Rukmi, or something else, some other punishment. They are sent out of the country. Like that, other punishments are given. Like in the case of Ashwatthama, his gem was taken away, like that. So Parikshit Maharaj, he was qualified to accept surrender, and he was worthy to be seen in history, and he did not kill the fallen Kali. He simply smiled compassionately because he is the friend of the poor. So this is what we have seen. And he also said, I've inherited the fame of Arjun. Therefore, since you have surrendered yourself with folded hands, you need not fear for your life. But, however, now he tells the condition that you cannot remain in my kingdom because you are the friend of irreligion. So the punishment is given. What did he tell Kali personified? He said, you surrendered unto me, so I'm not going to kill you. But I'm not going to let you remain in my kingdom because you are the friend of irreligion. Now, yeah. So now in the purport, actually, I didn't read the verse, sorry. We had to read this verse and then we had to go ahead. Raja Uvacha. न ते गुडाकेश यशोधराणां बद्धाञ्जलिर्वै भयमस्ति किञ्चित् न वरितित्तवयं भवता कथाचन क्षेत्रे मदीये त्वम् अधर्म बन्धु. So he says, you're a friend of Adharma Bandhu. So how can I let you be in this world? Especially in my kingdom. So you have to leave this kingdom. So when Krishna was there, he brought in, because of the Kurukshetra war, many unrighteous kings were killed. And he wanted to establish an ideal king like Maharaj Yudhishthir in the throne. And Maharaj Parikshit Maharaj, he was a descendant of Yudhishthir Maharaj, and he was following religion very perfectly. So when a king is following the codes of religion perfectly, it is natural for the king to punish the friends of irreligiosity and remove the state from corruption. So he saw that this Kali personified is a direct sign of corruption. So he said, I'm going to take out this sign of corruption. In today's political situation, the ministers are very corrupt. They are the ones who are holding on to the sign of corruption. But in Parikshit Maharaj's time, if he saw any sort of corruption or adharma, he wanted to completely eradicate that. And because Kali had surrendered, he decided to banish Kali from the state. That way he could save the state from corruption. त्वां वर्तमानां नरदेव देहेष्वा अनुप्रवृत्तोऽयमधर्मपूगः लोभोऽनृतं चौर्यमनार्यमम्हो ज्येष्ठा च माया कलहश्च दम्भः. Okay. Translation. If the personality of Kali, a religion is allowed to act as a man god or an executive head, certainly irreligious principles like greed, falsehood, robbery, inclivity, treachery, misfortune, cheating, quarrel, and vanity will be abound. So basically, if Kali is allowed to act as an executive head, man god. So Naradeva, generally a king is a Naradeva, right? He is the ruler and he's the representative of God who's taking care of the citizens. So if the Kali, personality of Kali is allowed to act at an equal level of the executive head, then what happens? All the religious principles like greed, falsehood, robbery, treachery, misfortune, cheating, quarrel, vanity, everything will be in great extent. It will be there everywhere. So Maharaj Parikshit, he didn't want such a situation to happen. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions that the principles of religion, which is austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, as we have already discussed, may be followed by any follower of any faith. You do not have to become a Hindu to follow these four principles. You don't have to convert from being a Mohammedan to a Hindu, or you don't have to turn from a Hindu to a Mohammedan or a Christian or some other faith to follow principles of religion. Principles of religion is needed, regulative principles are needed to live a sane life. Okay. And regulative principles may be slightly differing based on time, place, and circumstance. But however, the point is one should focus whether the highest religion is achieved or not. Prabhupada warns us something interesting. He tells us sticking to dogmas and formulas without attaining the real principles is not good. Sometimes this happens, right? We get so caught on to the principles, the rules and regulations, that we forget the purpose of following those rules and regulations. we forget completely why these rules and regulations are in place. The rules and regulations are in place so that you can come to a good standard of consciousness. But instead of that, we just stick to the rules and regulations and we forget Krishna consciousness. It happens many times. We are so obsessed, very fanatic, and then we forget what is the purpose of this. The purpose of this is to do Shravanam Kirtanam. We are not doing Shravanam Kirtanam, but we are so fanatic about rules and regulations. It happens everywhere. It happens with me. It happens with everybody, right? So Prabhupada says that is not very good. Yes, you should follow all the rules and regulations. That's why rules and regulations are there so that you may follow. But don't forget the essence of why you're following those rules and regulations. So in this age of Kali, all these executive heads, they will be sticking to many religious principles. and they will be encouraging qualities like greed, falsehood, cheating. All these different bad qualities is encouraged in this age of Kali, and the entire state is corrupt. But Parikshit Maharaj was trying very hard to remove Kali from his kingdom. So let's see, was he able to remove? What happened? Did Kali get a spot? Yeah, that is going to be discussed. न वरित्ति त्वयं तद् अधर्मबन्धो धर्मेण सत्येन च वरितव्ये ब्रह्मावर्ते यत्र यजन्ति यज्ञैर्यज्ञेश्वरं यज्ञवितान विज्ञा. Translation. Anyone wants to read translation?
Translation Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Therefore, O friend of a
Irreligion.
religion, you do not deserve to remain in a place where experts perform sacrifices according to truth and religion principles for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Jai, thank you so much. Nice to hear your voice. So he says, "O friend of irreligion, hey Adharmavadi, you do not you are not fit to stay here. Why? You are not fit to stay here because this is the region of Brahmavarta. Brahmavarta is the region where sacrifices are performed. And what are sacrifices performed for? Sacrifices are performed to please Yagneshwara. Who's Yagneshwara? Yagneshwara is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, in a place where lots of sacrifices are performed to please the Supreme Lord, there are a lot of pious people. Why should irreligion stay there? That is what Parikshit Maharaj is telling. Yagneshwara, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the beneficiary of all kinds of sacrificial ceremonies. Such ceremonies, they are prescribed differently in different scriptures for different ages. So we know this very well. In the age of Kali, the yajna that is prescribed is chanting of the holy names. And And in other ages, there are different kinds of sacrifices that is recommended. But all these sacrifices are especially performed in this part of the world, which is called as Brahmavarta, or this region of India, basically, or this Earth planet. If you want to have a vast boundary, you can say the Earth planet. So the ultimate goal of all this religion, these yajnas that they do, is to satisfy Krishna. That's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he especially spread the Sankirtan Yajna in this age of Kali, which is performed everywhere, not just in India. It is performed everywhere. And by the power of Sankirtan Yajna, what happens? We've seen this. What is Parikshit Maharaj telling? You cannot live in a place where sacrifices are performed. So, which means by the method of Sankirtan Yajna, which is performed everywhere and anywhere, we can drive away the personality of Kali and we can save the human beings from falling prey to the influence of this Kali Yuga. So this Harinam Sankirtan is very potent, very, very potent. It bestows all auspiciousness and it is very beneficial for everybody. It's not that it is beneficial only for a set of people. We were seeing that in Nectar of Devotion today morning, that this Sankirtan Yajna, or even chanting the holy names, or be it whatever devotional practices that we are doing, it is not just beneficial for one set of people. When you go out on Sankirtan and chant the holy names, even the trees and the plants and the animals are benefited. And the example of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dancing in the Jharkhand forest, inspiring the lion and the deers to become friends, that is a classic example. So there's no quarrel. Kali means what? Quarrel. So when Sankirtan Yajna is performed perfectly, quarrel is vanquished. So Yajna is very powerful. And Parikshit Maharaj is telling, this is the place of Yajna. What are you doing here? Just leave this place. 34. Yasmin harir bhagavan ijamanaaya ijatmamurtiryajatam shamtanoti kaman amoghan stirajangamanam antarbahirvayur ivisha atma. Anyone for translation, please?
I
Hare
can.
Krishna, Mataji, Pranam. I
Hare
can
Krishna.
do. Mataji, please go ahead. Padmini Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. In all sacrificial ceremonies, although sometimes a demigod is worshipped, the Supreme Lord Personality of Godhead is worshipped because He is the supreme soul of everyone and exists both inside and outside like the air. Thus, it is He only who awards all welfare to the worshipper. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
This is important. It is there in Bhagavad Gita, it is there in various parts of Bhagavatam as well. Sometimes when you do these fire sacrifices, you see who's being worshipped. It could be some demigod. But then at the end of the puja that is being done, sometimes some people do Navagraha Homa, some people do some other Yagna, Ganapati Homa. Like that, there are so many sacrifices that are aimed towards demigod. But at the end, what does the priest say? He says, Sarvam Krishna Arpanamastu, right? And everything is for Narayana Prityartham, for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, for the pleasure of Krishna. And Radha Krishna are invoked. And they are considered the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices. Narayana, Lakshmi, or Radha Krishna are considered the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices. Yes, initially the demigod is invoked and the demigod is praised through mantras and ahuti is given to the demigods. But at the end of it, we conclude by saying actually everything goes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's why he's called as Yagneshwara. He's worshipped by everybody. Whatever yajna you do, it is considered incomplete. Even if you're doing something like a Shraddha ceremony also, it is considered incomplete if you do not offer the credits and the results to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the super soul in everyone. He exists inside and outside just like air. That is what this verse is telling. It's so beautiful, right? He exists inside and outside just like air. Air is there within our body, air is there outside also. Like that, the super soul, he's present within our body and he's present outside our body as well. And he's the one truly who empowers the demigods and he awards the welfare to all the worshippers. Demigods, although they are worshipped, they cannot do anything without the sanction of the Lord, because the Lord is the super soul in everyone. He is the one who's sitting in the heart of all moving and non-moving living entities. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, very famous verse. Everybody knows this. Yepi anya devata bhakta yajante shraddadhanvitaha tepi mam eva kaunteya yajanti avidhi purvakam. What is avidhi purvakam? Avidhi purvakam means doing it without proper understanding. We are blindly doing rituals. We are removing the spiritual out of the ritual and we are doing just rituals. But we should know what is the purpose of this sacrifice that we are doing. Krishna says, whatever a man may sacrifice to other gods, O son of Kunti, it is really meant for me alone. Tepi mameva kaunteya. It is meant for me alone, but it is offered without true understanding. The understanding is improper. So, the Supreme Lord is one without a second, meaning he is everything. There is no comparison to him. There is no one equal to him. And there is no God greater than him. No demigod is greater than him. So he is the one who's transcended to this material creation. And though many people may be worshipping demigods like the sun, moon, Indra, we should understand that they are all material representatives of the Supreme Lord, meaning they are representatives of the Supreme Lord to conduct material affairs in this universe. That is their role. They are not the supreme authority. They are qualitative representations of the Supreme Lord. They represent the power of the Supreme Lord, the energy of the Supreme Lord in various features. So, a person who's truly learned, a devotee, he knows who is who. And what does he do? He directly worships the Supreme Lord and he is not diverted by the qualitative material representatives. Just like when I want to get some work done, if I have access to the highest authority, it is easy for me to send a message to the highest authority and get the work done. I don't have to go through 100 layers. If the higher authority is accessible and if he is ready to talk to me, Krishna is always accessible and he's always ready to connect with us. So an intelligent person, what will he do? He will directly worship the Supreme Lord and he will not get diverted by material qualitative representatives. So, if someone is getting diverted to all these different demigods, their worship is unceremonious. Prabhupada says the ceremony is not proper. Their worship is not proper because it is irregular. It is not the right method. Yajanti avidi purvam, not proper vidhis. They are not following the right vidhis. So ultimately, whether it is a fire sacrifice, whether it is japa sacrifice, whatever sacrifice you may be doing, the sacrifice is meant for Vishnu. The bhoga that we offer, it is meant for Vishnu. It is also a sacrifice, right? So when we eat grains, we are doing a sacrifice within our body. That Agni, we are putting some food into that Agni, Chhatra Agni. It's a sacrifice. That's why we say certain sacrifices are not performed on Ekadashi. Only devotional sacrifices are performed. We don't eat til, we don't eat mustard, we don't eat methi. Why? Because Jayapataka Swami Maharaj says these are used in fire sacrifices. It is good to avoid items that you put in fire sacrifices inside your stomach as a sacrifice. That's what he says. Okay. So basically the idea is if we are not doing something devotional, it is better to avoid. Because it is not pleasing to Vishnu ultimately. But any sacrifice that you do, whether we do it knowingly or unknowingly, the ultimate enjoyer is our Krishna only. That we should know. Otherwise, if we are thinking that this demigod is enjoy, that demigod is the enjoy, we are not doing it perfectly. Okay. Sota Ovacha.
Mataji,
Parikshit.
one more time, can you please repeat that? We didn't get this because of the sound problems. About this Ekadashi, this sacrifice, Mataji.
I just said it in a flow. I'm sorry if it came in.
Okay, okay,
That just came
Mataji.
out of my mouth. But the
Okay,
truth,
okay.
in Ekadashi, we avoid sesame, we avoid methi, we avoid mustard, and some other dhanyam seeds, because it is used in the fire sacrifices. Okay. Eating is also a sacrifice. Generally, on Ekadashi, we do, even if we do sacrifice, it should be for the pleasure of Vishnu. Generally, devotional sacrifices are performed. And on Ekadashi, we don't eat also, right? I eat, but I'm saying I eat what is permitted, but it's not like I do ritual. I eat whenever I'm hungry. Definitely I eat. But why these items are forbidden? These items are forbidden because they are directly used in a sacrifice. When we eat also, we are doing a yajna. The Chhatragni is there and you're putting some items into it. No? So that's why it said that even if you eat only fruits and vegetables or cooked whatever, fruits and vegetable derivatives. Don't avoid these seeds. You can use other seeds, but avoid these seeds. That is the understanding. Okay. This was done in a letter by His Holiness. Till then, even I didn't know why specifically only these. I just read that and I thought that's a beautiful answer. And it's also very true, right? When we do these yagnas, we put sesame and all that. So it's better to avoid. That's all. Again, people will say, okay, Swaminarayan people use. Okay, fine, let them use. But ideally, we are trying to avoid. That's all. Okay. Okay, so
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, even I just read his letters and I found out it's there in the internet. You can go check. Okay. It just came in a flow, huh? Okay. Sutta uvacha Parikshitaivam adishtaha sakalir patuhu tam udhyathasim adheham dandapanim ivodatam. Dandapani. Who's Dandapani? Dandapani. There are many people who are Dandapani. There are two people I know who are Dandapani. One is Lord Kartikeya. He's also called Dandapani. He holds a danda when he is a brahmachari. The other person who eternally is called Dandapani is Yamaraj. He holds the danda of religion, the staff of religion that is held by Yamaraj. So he's Dandapani. So this Dandapani, he's Yamaraj, he's the personality of death. So what is Sutta Goswami saying? Sutta Goswami says the personality of Kali, thus being ordered by Maharaj Parikshit, he began to tremble in fear when he was told, "You cannot stay in my place," and seeing the king before him like Yamaraj, our Parikshit Maharaj, he looked like Dandapani. He was holding the staff of the king holds a staff, right, to administer dharma, to administer the correct principles. So he saw this Parikshit Maharaj to be like Yamaraj, ready to kill him. And Kali personified began to speak to the king. The king was ready to kill the personality of Kali because as soon as Kali wanted to disobey the order, the king wanted to destroy him. Otherwise, the king had no objection in him living. But if he disobeyed the order of the king, he wanted to kill him. And this personality of Kali also, after trying to get rid of the punishment in various ways, he decided that he must surrender unto him, and he began to tremble for his life. And the king should be like Parikshit Maharaj. He should be very, very strong. This is the nature of a king. He should stand in front of Kali like Yamaraj. That is the correct leader that one should have. We don't have such leaders, unfortunately, today. And the people who are subordinates, who are citizens, they must accept the order of the king. They must accept the order of the king. Otherwise, their life is in risk. So, so this is the way to rule the personalities of Kali who create disturbances in the normal life of the state of citizens. So what is the quality that a king should should exhibit? The king should hold the staff of dharma just like Yamaraj and stop irreligion from spreading. So that's exactly what Parikshit Maharaj was doing. But in today's world, we don't have such great leaders. They also encourage Kali. They themselves are Kali personified. What to do? Right? Yeah. So now I will take one question and then we'll go forward. Yeah, Tulsi. Mataji, actually, two Matajis, they texted me saying that don't break the flow. So what should I do? Should I take the question or shall we wait till the end?
We can wait till the end, Mataji.
Wait till the end. They complained that they are not able to follow the flow of the chapter if I talk something else. So I said I will try to follow their order and try to finish one section and then take questions. Okay. So we'll finish this section and then I will take questions. Okay. Please don't mind, Mataji. Just trying to follow requests of devotees. Okay. Kalir Uvacha. यत्र क्वा वातवत्स्यामि सार्वभौम तवाज्ञया लक्षये तत्र तत्रापि त्वाम् अर्थेषु शरासनम्. Anyone would like to read translation, please?
Can I read, Mataji?
Yes.
O your Majesty, though I may live anywhere and everywhere under your order, I shall but see you with bow and arrows wherever I look.
So Parikshit Maharaj told Kali, you leave this place, go away somewhere. But Kali personified is telling, wherever I go, I will be seeing you in fear. I'll just see you everywhere, in fear. Like Marich, I think this was the story. Like when Marich was thrown away, 100 yojanas, whomever he saw, even if he hears the word Ra, he was thinking it is Rama. He was so scared. He was seeing Rama in the tree. He was seeing Rama everywhere, wherever he saw in fear. So like that, this Parikshit Maharaj was so powerful that when Parikshit Maharaj said, get out of this place, Kali, he was telling, wherever I go, I'm going to see you holding the staff. So what should I do? I'm very fearful. Parikshit Maharaj was trying to subdue him. But Parikshit Maharaj, one can say that it would have been better to kill this Kali. But then Prabhupada says, it is not proper for a person who is requested Sharanagati, who's requested shelter, to reject the person who surrendered. So what he did, he decided to spare the life and he asked him to go elsewhere. But this Kali was telling, even if I go out of your kingdom, I'm going to be fearful because there are hundreds and thousands of kings like you, or your sort of representatives, like kings like Parikshit Maharaj, who will chastise me. So what should I do? He asks. Tante dharma britham shreshta sthanam nirteshtum arhasi yatraiva niyato vatsya atitham stenushāsanam. Anyone for translation?
I can read Mataji. Hare Krishna. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, O chief amongst the protectors of religion, please fix some place for me where I can live permanently under the protection of your government.
So Kali is asking, in this world, everywhere. He says, Parikshit Maharaj, you are ruling everywhere. I'm seeing you everywhere, ruling everywhere, controlling everything. Even the kings who are under you, they are also as powerful as you. So where can I live? You have to give me some standard places. You have to give me a place that is permanent. Even if it is in your government, I want a permanent place where I have to live. Prabhupada mentions that if a soul is surrendered, he should be given all protection, even though he might be an enemy. That is the principle of religion. And we can imagine what sort of protection is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead if someone surrenders unto him. When Parikshit Maharaj was such a great soul, he was a devotee of the Lord. Then what to talk about the Lord? When you surrender unto the Lord, he will give complete protection. Lord Ramachandra, he says, Sakrudeva Prapannaya Tavasmi iti cha yachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vratam mama. Vratam mama. He says, Abhayam sarvada tasmai or Abhayam sarvabhutebhya. Says, I will give you protection from all creatures. Whoever you may be, I will give you protection. This is my dhrida vratam. I've taken a very firm vow that I will give protection. So the kind of protection that the Lord gives is unimaginable. So Lord protects the surrendered soul from all sins and the resultant action of sinful acts. This is Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayashyami ma shucha. Don't fear, ma shucha. He says ma shucha. He gives abhayam, he says. It's called this. He gives abhayam. He says, don't fear. Don't worry, I will take care of everything if you surrender unto me. So all that we have to do is surrender unto him, but have faith that he will do what is best for us. That's all. When it is natural, even if we have gone and said, oh Krishna, I surrender unto me, you please take care, still the human nature is such that we are continuously doubting whether I will be protected in the situation or not. That is the human nature, but it is very important to understand that Krishna will protect us and we should strengthen our faith in Krishna. How do we strengthen our faith in Krishna? That Krishna will protect. It is a matter of practice, okay? We have to continuously hear. We have to continuously hear about Krishna, appreciate his great qualities, and then develop love for him and continue the practice every single day. Then when we surrender unto Krishna, we'll develop strong faith in him. Whatever the situation may be, Krishna will give me protection. Sutavacha. अभ्यर्थितस्तदा तस्मै स्थानानि कलये ददौ द्यूतं पानं स्त्रियशूण यत्राधामश्चतुर्विधा. So where is the location of Kali? Suta Goswami said, O Parikshit, thus petitioned by the personality of Kali, Parikshit gave him permission to reside in places where there is gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter. So these are the 4 regulative principles that is mentioned. So why are we following the 4 regulative principles? We are following the 4 regulative principles because we do not want to get involved with Kali. Wherever there is gambling, wherever there is drinking, wherever there is prostitution, animal slaughter, Kali is going to be very strong. Here again, Prabhupada confirms. We try to match, I was talking about this in the earlier class also. We try to match the 4 legs of dharma to the 4 regulative principles, but we do it wrongly. And 3 times in the purport, Prabhupada has clarified that. This is another purport where he clarifies the correct matching. He says the basic principles of irreligiosity, such as pride, prostitution, intoxication, and falsehood counteract the 4 principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. He's consistent in all his purports. Okay, and Chakravarti Bhav also says the same thing. There is no doubt in this. So he again repeats what is the match, Prabhupada. So he says the basic principles of irreligiosity, such as pride, prostitution, intoxication, and falsehood, counteract the 4 religious principles, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. What does animal slaughter counteract? Animal slaughter counteracts everything. All good qualities are lost if we start slaughtering animals. There is no question of austerity, there's no question of cleanliness, there's no question of mercy, there's no question of truthfulness. All 4 are gone, completely gone. So, the personality of Kali, he was given 4 places to stay, and these 4 places we try to avoid. Okay, but there may be a question. In the yajnas that is mentioned in the Shrutis, it's called as Shautamani yajna. In the Shrutis, sometimes there could be certain principles that are being asked to practice. Like, for example, you might have to do some animal sacrifice in the name of Ashwamedha Yajna or Gomedha Yajna. But if it is Shautamani Yajna, then it is okay. Why? Because according to the Vedic injunction, the animal is also benefited. So he gives certain leverages, and in the Vedas also, certain allowances is given for people in the lower modes to engage in these 4 irreligious principles. Like, for example, animal slaughter is permitted in the Vedas, provided you capture the animal, you take the animal on an Amavasya night to the border of the village, and you slaughter the animal and you offer it to Kali, and then you take it. So like this, you have to chant a mantra saying, in this birth you eat me, next birth I eat, no, in this birth I eat you, next birth you eat me. So my himsa, it's my himsa, the torture that I am performing, mamsa. So I'm accepting this mamsa, but under the condition that in the next birth you can chop off my head. So like this, there is some regulation, because Prabhupada in many places he says complete eradication of illicit relationships, prostitution, complete eradication of meat eating, complete eradication of intoxication. All this is not practically possible, but it should be regulated. And when it comes to having relationships with the opposite gender, Prabhupada says the marriage is recommended. So the Vedas, they are giving us Pravrita Marga and Nivrita Marga. Pravrita Marga is to follow certain principles and have regulated sense gratification and eventually aim for perfection. But the Nivrita Marga is directly aiming for liberation, completely discarding all this. So the recommendations in scriptures are not an encouragement to do adharma, but they are for regulating the necessary adharma. There could be so many adharmas. There is a necessity to regulate, because not everybody is in the mode of goodness. There are people who will choose to perform these activities. For them to make the best use of the bad bargain, they may do these activities, but we should understand this is with regulation. Okay, they have to do it with regulation. Only when they do it with regulation, eventually they can get rid of this. If they happily indulge with recklessly, then Kali is getting more and more rampant, meaning they don't have any value system. So Kali was transferred to these places where these sinful activities have performed, like gambling, drinking, prostitution, and slaughterhouses. So those who are addicted to these irreligious habits, they have to do it in a regulated fashion according to the injunctions of scripture. If you cannot stop meat eating, at least do it with respect to regulation to scripture. And however, such things should not be broadly advertised and encouraged by state. Today's world, everything is advertised and everything is patronized, right? Drinking is patronized, illicit relationship is patronized, all the nonsense is patronized. So basically, if a state wants to eradicate corruption, one has to introduce the principles of religion in the following manner. How do we introduce these 4 principles of religion? That is also mentioned by Srila Prabhupada. My Guru Maharaj, he tells about our culture. He says our culture is so deteriorated that in some years back, for them, the greatest hero was James Bond. Everybody would watch James Bond movies. He's the greatest role model, and everybody wanted to imitate James Bond. But what was James Bond doing in his movies? He will continuously break the 4 regulative principles. Continuously. From beginning to end, the entire story is about breaking regulative principles. So Guru Maharaj used to make fun of that. What is this? And he is the biggest hero. Why? Because he's able to do it. He's able to break everything. So we will all follow him. We'll also break religious principles in and out. That's how we are. We are following the wrong leaders. But Prabhupada says these principles of religion, not irreligion, but principles of religion, they can be introduced in some way or the other and in a Krishna conscious way. Prabhupada says, for example, we talked about austerity. So austerity can be introduced by following Ekadashi Vrata, fasting days. There are 2 compulsory fasting days in a month, if not more, Prabhupada says. Today is Ekadashi for some people in East Coast because it was not suitable for fasting yesterday. So some people are fasting today. Though it is Varahadvadasi. So Ekadashi, some sort of austerity is willing austerity is taken up. And Prabhupada says, okay, 2 days you don't eat in a month. Of course, we are all eating feasts, but at least we're trying to regulate in some way, I believe. So Prabhupada is telling that we'll save tons of food. 2 days we don't eat. And then how to control illicit relationships by having early marriages. In ancient times in India, marriages were early. They were not at the age of 30 and 40. Today, marriages for the girl is at 35, man is 40. Why? They can directly do the 60th birthday. 60th birthday also some people get married. They can directly do that. That's a common joke people say. That's how the society has changed. They directly do the 60th birthday. The man's 60th birthday, he remarries the wife. It's there in Vedic tradition. So directly we can do that, instead of getting married at the age of 40. But that's how this culture is evolving. Prabhupada says, actually, he gives a very high standard. He says men should be married by 24 and ladies by 16. But we understand practically in this time and age, it is very difficult. So at least we should get married early. That is the idea. And what is the advantage of getting married early? It is easier. The mind is pliable. And we adjust easily when we get married early. If we have too much independence, where everybody is independently thinking that my way is the best way, it is very difficult to adjust to another human being. So marriages generally are done a little early so that you learn to live with your partner for the rest of your life. Yeah. And Prabhupada says co-education is not bad, provided they are duly married, And if there is an intimate connection between male and female student, they should be immediately married without illicit relationship. If you see that 2 people are interested in each other, get them married. Why do you go to a point where you are promoting their illicit relationship? So, and also he says he's against divorce. He says there's no need for a divorce because divorce can result in encouragement of prostitution. Again, this is a clause. It can happen. It's not like every divorcee is in such a situation, but it can happen. That's what Prabhupada is trying to tell. That is about controlling illicit relationship. The third one is about charity. About what is this about? What are we talking? Yeah, pride, austerity, and then
Intoxication is what cleanliness.
intoxication is mercy, no?
Mercy.
But why is Prabhupada talking about citizens must give up give charity? He's trying to relate it to gambling. Instead of gambling and trying to accumulate more, what should we do? We should give charity. That is Prabhupada's statement that he's trying to put forward. Why are we gambling? Because we're greedy, right? We want more. We want to accumulate more. What is not due to us, we try to get it somehow or the other. But if it is not destined for us, how will it come to us? So this gambling thing itself is a matter of greed. There's no need to engage in gambling. And instead, what can we do? Citizens should give in charity. Prabhupada says up to 50% of their income for creating a spiritual atmosphere in the state of human society. Interestingly, I was listening to a class in the temple by a very renowned speaker who was sitting on the Vyasa side, and he was mentioning about this particular purport. And he was talking about what this means to give 50% of their income. He read this purport and he said what it means practically for today. It was interesting. The analysis was very interesting and it made sense also for many of us. So, what he said is when you say you have to give 50% of your income, it means first, when you get your income, you take care of your necessities first. Okay, with that income, because some people will barely be making an income to take care of their basic necessities, right? So, the first job of every person is to take care of their basic necessities. Whatever is remaining, the balance, in that you give 50%. For spiritual activities, and the remaining 50% you distribute between relatives and you keep for your emergency fund. This is how Srila Rupa Goswami managed. Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, this is how they managed. They gave 50% of their income for the purpose of creating a spiritual atmosphere in human society, and the remaining they split between their relatives and they kept a little for emergency funding. Okay, so this is the suggested method. And when you're giving for spiritual activities, what kind of spiritual activities it should be? You can give for spiritual activities where there is discussion of Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavatam, chanting the glories of the Lord, preaching Bhagavatam, where atmosphere is saturated with God consciousness. In such a place, you can give all the donation. So gambling. Prabhupada interestingly says gambling has become an enterprise and it is very degrading. We go to our Praladananda Prabhus from Las Vegas. He often says this is the Maya capital of the world, he says. Because there's so much gambling, there's so much illicit relationship, there's everything in that place. Well, this gambling, it is very degrading. And there's a complete disappearance of truthfulness. Remember, at this point in time, the bull is standing on one leg, which is truthfulness. The more we gamble, we are going to destroy this truthfulness. So, it is very, very important that we follow the regulative principles, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication. So if we follow this, then we can avoid Kali. What is the benefit of following all this? We can avoid Kali and we can become better people. But if you're indulging more and more in such activities, then we are entangling ourselves more and more. It's going to become a complicated loop from which we will not know how to come out of. So we have to take corrective steps as early as possible. If the tendency is to break a principle, try to correct. That way, we can fix our situation by the mercy of our acharyas. That way, we are not letting Kali enter our life. Text 39. पुनश्च याचमानाय जातरूपं मदात् प्रभु ततो अनृतं मदं कामं रजो वैरं च पंचमम्. Translation? Anybody?
Hare Krishna. The personality of Kali asked for something more, and because of his begging, the king gave him permission to live where there is gold, because wherever there is gold, there is also falsity, intoxication, lust, envy, and enmity. Hare Krishna.
Wow. Yeah. So what did he do? He said these 4 places are not enough. Kali, he said, what, only 4 places you're giving? Give me more places. And he said, okay, you can live where there is gold. What does that mean? Too much gold. And there's too much wealth. When there is too much gold, there is also falsity, intoxication, lust, envy, and enmity. So like this, there are different qualities that come with too much accumulation of wealth. In Shastras, it is mentioned that you should wear gold actually. But you wear gold, both men and women can wear gold. But you should wear gold, not like, top to bottom decked in gold. You just wear one piece of gold, or maybe in your earring or in your finger, whatever. It is auspicious to wear gold, but at the same time, it is not auspicious to continuously hoard gold and wear too much of it. I think in some place, I don't know if it is Prabhupada, purport, or my Guru Maharaj, I don't remember this. He compares gold. I know this is not very nice to hear, but he compares gold with yellow stool. It is abominable, they say. Why do the sannyasis think that gold is like yellow stool? The reason sannyasis think that gold is like yellow stool is because they don't want to associate with it. They see it like that. They're like, gold, keep it away. It is Kali, this tendency to accumulate wealth. When there is accumulation of wealth, there is falsity, there's intoxication, there's lust, there's envy, there's enmity, everything comes. You know the story of Nalakuvara and Manigriva. Nalakuvara and Manigriva, they had so much wealth. Because of that wealth, there was so much pride, there was envy, there was enmity, there was intoxication. Remember, they were intoxicated. There was falsity, everything comes with that. That pride, when it hits the roof, we don't know what we are doing. So Maharaj Parikshit, he gave one more place. He asked Kali to sit in the places where there is gold. And but here Prabhupada makes some comments about the gold standard. He says, so the personality of Kali became gold standardized. According to Bhagavatam, gold encourages falsity, intoxication, prostitution, envy, and enmity. Even a gold standard exchange and currency is bad. Why? He explains. Gold standard, this was back in the 60s, okay? 30s, sorry. It was in the 1930s, this gold standard exchange. So gold standard exchange is based on a falsehood because the currency is not on par with the reserved gold. If everybody is claiming their share at the same time, then the government will not have sufficient reserve gold to give them. They always, see, that's what Prabhupada says. The basic principle is falsity because currency notes are issued in a value that is beyond the actual reserve of gold. This is how they give the currency in the name of gold exchange. And this artificial inflation of currency by the authorities encourages prostitution of the state economy. It is not prostitution of man and woman, it is prostitution of the state economy, he says. The economy itself collapses. The price of the commodities, they become artificially inflated because of bad money or artificial currency. And bad money drives away the good money, he says. So instead of paper currency, if you want, you can have actual gold coins. That's not a problem. Gold coins can be used for exchange. Instead of paper notes, we can use gold coins for exchange. But to say that there is gold standard currency, that is what you call this system where they would exchange commodities for the price of the reserve gold, that system is not encouraged. Okay. So where there is actual gold currency in the form of coins, the influence of gold in producing falsity, prostitution will automatically cease. If you can directly do exchange instead of paper currency with gold, then this will reduce. That is what Prabhupada writes. So there'll be no need for an anti-corruption ministry to solve this problem of corruption with money. If we have directly gold coins, in those days, they would exchange with gold coins. There was so much gold, right? But today's world, it's very difficult. Who has so much gold in the first place? So, but however, there are certain things that can encourage gambling, and it is important to keep away from such activities in a practical level. So, 40. Okay. Amoni Panchasthanani. So what happened? He was given 5 places. What are the 5 places? The 5 regulator principles, those bad things. The 4 regulator principles plus the location of gold. So 5 were given. Amoni Panchasthanani hiya dharma prabhava kali auttarayena dattani nyavasatan nideshakrita. Auttareya. Oh, who's Auttareya? It is Parikshit because he's the son of Uttara. So he's called as Auttareya. So the personality of Kali, by the directions of Maharaj Parikshit, who's the son of Uttara, was allowed to live in 5 places. Amuni Panchasthani, in all those 5 places. what was living? Kali was living. So actually, Prabhupada says the age of Kali began with gold standardization, and therefore there was falsity, intoxication, animal slaughter, and prostitution that was there throughout the world. But if we can take the counteracting process that is suggested above, then we can take advantage of the suggestion. So, which means gold can be used as currency that can help curtail gold corruption. That is Prabhupada's suggestion. Okay. I don't know practically how many people can have that today, but this is a suggestion that is given. Text 41. अथैथानेन सेवेत बुभुषुः पुरुषः क्वचित् विशेषतो धर्मशीलो राजलोकपतिर्गुरुः. Therefore, whoever desires progressive living being, especially kings, religionists, public leaders, brahmanas, and sannyasis, they should not come in contact with the four irreligious principles. So, this religious principles is for everybody. But the brahmanas and the sannyasis, especially, they should never come across any of these. And they are considered very responsible human beings. They are the leaders of society. They cannot engage in any of these four sinful activities. They should set an example. And if a king, on the contrary, is very proud of his habituated drinking and smoking, he will become disqualified to discharge public welfare activity. So the leaders of society, namely the sannyasis and brahmanas especially, and the king, they should be very, very careful in not engaging in the four irreligious principles that can cause contamination. वृषस्य नष्टं स्त्रीन् पादान् तपशौचं दयम् इति प्रतिसन्धत आवश्य महीं च समवर्धयत्. Anyone for translation?
Thereafter, the king re-established the lost legs of the personality of religion, the bull, and by encouraging activities, he sufficiently improved the condition of the earth.
So basically, Parikshit Maharaj was in control. He was a great king. And he saw that dharma was nicely protected. When we see here that he re-established the lost legs, that means he protected dharma. What did Parikshit Maharaj do? Parikshit Maharaj, he gave some designated places for Kali. So in this way, he controlled Kali to an extent that he was able to execute dharma properly. And people in this world, they saw that things had improved in the rule of Parikshit Maharaj. And that's what Prabhupada says. Prabhupada says Maharaj Parikshit was like his grandfather Arjuna. Arjuna, what did he do? He's called as Dhananjaya. Why is he called as Dhananjaya? Because he went and collected a lot of gold reserves. And how did he use these gold reserves? He used these gold reserves in the Sankirtan Yajna. So we all know the story of how he went to the sacrifice of Marutta, where a lot of gold reserve was there. He brought it and he used it in a great sacrifice that was performed by Yudhishthir Maharaj. So similarly, Srila Prabhupada also mentions that if you have some wealth, use it in the service of Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada also did that, right? So Prabhupada says, as we have suggested above, one's accumulated wealth may be divided into three parts for distribution, namely 50% for the service of the Lord, 25% for the family members, and 25% for the personal necessities. Spending 50% for the service of the Lord or propagation of spiritual knowledge in society through Sankirtan Yajna is the maximum display of human mercy. How do we display true mercy? We have to give mercy to the soul. It is not enough if you just give mercy to the body. You have to give mercy to the soul. How can you give mercy to the soul? By engaging or propagating the Sankirtan movement throughout the world. So, when we do that, austerity, cleanliness, mercy automatically ensue. So, like this, the three lost leg of the personality of religion was established in the age of when Parikshit Maharaj was ruling during the age of Kali. So, but however, after the reign of Parikshit Maharaj, things deteriorated drastically. So the last two verses, and then we'll take questions. Sa esha etarhi adhyasta asanam parthivochitam pitamahino panayastam rajñaranyam vivikshata आस्थे अधूना स राजर्षि कौरवेन्द्र श्रियो लसन् गजह्वये महाभागस् चक्रवर्ती बृचच्छत्वर Chavra. Okay. Sharvaha. Okay. The most fortunate Emperor Parikshit, who was entrusted with the kingdom of Hastinapur by Maharaj Yudhishthir, then decided to retire in the forest after he ruled very nicely. And he look at this sentence. It says he is now ruling the world with great success due to his being glorified by the deeds of the kings of the Kuru dynasty. Chakravarti Srila Prabhupada, they tell us that look at how the sentence is framed. The sentence is framed in present tense. So the understanding is that this incident had just happened recently when the conversation between Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, the conversation between Suta Goswami and the sages of Naimisharanya was happening. So it was a very recent event. So, and we know how Parikshit Maharaj, he goes to the forest and then later he knows that he's going to be bitten by the snake bird and then he gives up his life. So this is a period when he had ruled very nicely and he had retired in the forest. Okay. Here, Prabhupada, he explains the prolonged sacrificial ceremonies that was undertaken by the sages of Naimisharanya had shortly begun after the demise of Parikshit Maharaj. So the sacrifice was supposed to continue for 1000 years, and it is suggested that in the beginning, some of the contemporaries of Baladeva, the elder brother of Krishna, also visited the sacrificial place. According to some authorities, the present tense is also used to indicate the nearest margin of time from the past. So that was a very recent event. Parikshit Maharaj's thing was very, very recent. In that sense, the present tense is applied to the reign of Parikshit Maharaj here. For a continuous fact also, the present tense can be used. The principles of Maharaj Parikshit can still be continued. If you don't want to think that it is happening around the same time, you can take the present tense to mean that these principles can still be applied if we have good authorities, if we have good leaders, if they can take charge of irreligion in the world. Okay, so we can also be like Parikshit Maharaj. In that sense, yes, this verse can be in present tense. But however, modern administrators, what do? They also become very corrupt. They don't want to banish corruption, they indulge in corruption. So the best way to have a proper society is to have the society become God conscious and have the four regulative principles: austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. So that way, we can follow the dharma that is mentioned in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. Last verse. Itham bhutanubhavoyam abhimanyu suto nripaha yasya palayantah shaunim yasya palayah shaunim yuyam satraya dikshitaha. Anyone for translation?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Abhimanyu, is so experienced that by dint of his expert administration and patronage, it has been possible for you to perform a sacrifice such as this.
So Parikshit Maharaj was very experienced. He knew how to drive away Kali, and he made the state a state of affairs that was receptive to spiritual enlightenment. So generally, it is seen that common people are not very receptive to spirituality, but especially when you talk about austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. But however, that is the basic ground. And Parikshit Maharaj, he made the entire world a very favorable condition. where people were inclined to follow the four regulative principles. That was the power that he had. So, in fact, it is only because of Parikshit Maharaj's perfect rule that the sages of Naimisharanya were able to perform sacrifices for 1000 years. Otherwise, it wouldn't be possible if the ruler is not properly situated. If the ruler is not spiritual, sacrifices are not encouraged in that place. Okay, so Parikshit Maharaj was a great ruler, and there was cooperation between the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas for the common good of the people. When Brahmanas and Kshatriyas are not cooperating, that is when the society degrades. Okay, and it is mentioned even up till the point of Ashoka, the great emperor Ashoka, who had conquered a major part of India. He was also um, supported by a spiritual person, Buddha, and he took up the Buddhist tenets and he spread it all over the world. So basically, the Brahmanas or the spiritualists and the Kshatriyas should work hand in hand. When they work hand in hand, then everything will be stable in the society. So that ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose for the first canto, 17th chapter of Bhagavatam, entitled The Punishment and Reward of Kali. So what did we see? We saw that Kali was given 4 places plus 1, which is gold. But in the next chapter, we'll see more places. Okay, we'll take questions. Tulsi Gopi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hari Bol.
One question I had was, I have 2 questions. First question was that just like when Kali was fearful and he surrendered, and Maharaj Parikshit became merciful to him, and he decided not to kill him. But when a Jivatma who is sinful, let's say, because he did all those things that Kali was doing, right? But at the time of death, if Yamdutas come and if such a soul surrenders, I'm sorry, and becomes fearful, still he is not given that leniency. That Jivatma is taken to by the Yamdutas mercilessly, and he's punished. He's not given. So how do we correlate that? For Kali, he was merciful, but for other Jivatmas, when they do the same sins which are influenced by Kali, then at the time of death, how is it? Like, is it that those who surrender will be given different treatment, and those who are, they don't?
Yeah. In the specific case, Kali had surrendered unto the lotus feet of Parikshit Maharaj for saving his life. And he was given that protection to save his life. So he continued to stay in various features of the world, like we saw where the 4 regulator principles are broken and where there is gold. Now, in our case, you're asking, when we have so much sins, we just go and surrender, will everything be taken care of? That is the question. When we surrender to Krishna, yes. Mashucha, Sarvadharman Parityaja, Mamikam Sharanam Raja. But it should be sincere, because Krishna knows our heart. As the super soul, as the Paramatma, he knows our intentions. If our intentions are not good and we surrender, still Krishna will accept. But he might not give you the highest goal. But if we have a sincere repentance, then we are burning those sins in the fire of sincere repentance.
Mataji, no, I was asking not for the devotees who are taking shelter of Krishna, but like they explain now that when a Jivatma is leaving his body, and the Yamduta is coming, like Ajamil's case, like Ajamil shouted Narayan's name, but it's a different case. But let's say any other ordinary Jivatma, when they see a Yamdutas, and they become fearful, and if they say, I'm sorry, leave me, or they surrender, what happens that time? Like, they are not given that mercy, they are still taken for punishment and like that, right? So I'm just trying to understand, how is it?
They are given a second chance, Mataji, and they surrender. In the case of Ajanil also, we saw he was given a second chance. In the second chance, he perfected his life. If we are willing to get corrected and perform atonement, we are given another chance. But in the second chance, we should not stop with just atonement of papa. Rather, we should engage in Krishna consciousness. So that way, we will get rid of that proclivity in the bijam and the kutam of performing the sin, because that will remain. The impressions will remain. So the idea is when we surrender, even if it is out of fear, you're given another chance. But if you do not utilize the chance properly, then there's a problem. If we are not surrendering properly, then we are forcefully dragged by Yamraj.
But here I think the Yamraj and Parikshit Maharaj, there's a big difference, right? Yamraj is his job to take him. So in that question is irrelevant. When Ramraj is coming, he has to take you because your time is up, right?
Yeah, your time is up.
Duty or not here.
Yeah, your time is up, say Yamaraj will take. But if you're surrendering unto Yamaraj like how Savitri, Satyavan Savitri did, yes, Yamaraj can be manipulated, if that is the word you want to use. But like you said, it is his job, and most people in their final stages, they are not going to surrender. They are so attached to their body, it is very difficult for them to go and surrender to Yamaraj and say something, They are so worried about giving up their body. That will be their consciousness, 99%. Yeah. And like Prabhuji also mentioned, it is Yamaraj's job, so he will execute it anyways. Yeah. And no point surrendering to Yamaraj. Yamaraj may leave you temporarily, but if you use that opportunity like Ajamil to focus on Krishna consciousness, then that's a good use of that opportunity.
Okay, Mataji.
I had one relative.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was just trying to give an example for why I'm saying this. I had one relative who had a very bad situation. He was bedridden, old man. He was bedridden for a long time, and suddenly one night he started screaming, and he woke up saying that somebody is pulling me down. These gory people, they have come, and 4 or 5 people have come, and they're just pulling me down. They're pulling me down. They're not letting me go. They're pulling me down, and they're trying to take me away. They're trying to take me away. And in the night he screamed, and everybody got up in our household, in our family back in India, and everybody got scared. And then I received a phone call from his wife, who's again an older lady, and we could understand it was the effect of Yama. And the suggestion that automatically comes is keep the holy names, chanting of the holy names, and keep some tulsi mala, keep spread Ganga Jala, whatever. That way the atmosphere is purified. And definitely when he passed later, after many months, after 1 or 2 months, his passing was so smooth that she was very surprised. It was such a contrast. She was so surprised. So when we are naturally repenting, saying that I have done something wrong, please forgive, maybe we get another chance. We don't know, Mataji. But if we are not sincere, then we don't know. If our time is up, our time is up. That's all. But when we get that small little chance, we should utilize it. That's all.
Thank you, Mataji. The second question I had was that Tarini asked this question. Even I was wondering that in that purport about gold, Prabhupada writes about women getting some quantity limited gold, and then it should be. So how much gold is not too much gold? Like we don't have, but like she's asking, like the prince, the queens, and all that, they would have more gold, but they were also some of those queens who lived in Maharaj Parikshit's kingdom. They would be noble, but they would have gold, right? A lot of gold. So how do we know what is too much? And
it's again, and this is only my understanding, Mataji. It's a matter of how your consciousness is absorbed. If your consciousness is absorbed in flaunting that gold, thinking I have gold, 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 if you're gold conscious, then there is a problem. But if you have some gold just as a part of your daily wear or something like that, or even sometimes you have some reserve, that's fine, Mataji, as long as our consciousness is not absorbed in that wealth. Why gold? Because it is wealth, right? Too much wealth can corrupt a person. That is the idea. Even if you have too much wealth, like Gopinath Patnaik, and you're not attached to it, it's okay. Correct? So that wealth should not intoxicate you. That is the idea. I think 2 3 people raised hands. Sorry, I'm not even allowing anybody to talk. Praladananda Prabhu and Ajay Govind Prabhu, please add Prabhuji's.
Mataji, I just wanted to add a little bit to the question which Mataji asked about what is too much. So I asked this question once upon a time to my mentor, Shivindavan Prabhu, and his question. Shivindavan Prabhu said that when the endeavor to get an object compromises your spiritual, time and activities, then it is too much.
Very
So
good.
as you said, that adequate is good and we should be having sufficient. But if we are over endeavoring, or if we are endeavoring where spiritual activities are compromised, then that is too much.
Haribol, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Ramji. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
Haribol. Yes, Praladananda Prabhu.
Dhanapram Mata. I
Haribol.
just want to have just some little reflection here.
Yeah.
That, Bhagavatam says in Pururava, it says, Kim Vidyaya, Kim Tapsa, Kim Gnatena, Srutena va, Kim Viviktena Maunena, Stribhiryasya Manorutam. The man whose mind is stolen by a woman or by gold or money or whatever, yam yam vapi smaran bhav. So that it does not help you at the end. And Bhaj Govindam says what? Bhagavad Gita kinchida dita, Ganga jallav kanika pita, Sakrudapi murari samarcha, kriyatena yasya yamena charcha.
Acha, acha.
So, as mother was saying that, apart from those who are devotees, what is the destination of others? Others' destination is very fixed. Yamraj has a and there are 12 witnesses, as we see in Ajamil clearly. All these witnesses, including the Paramatma inside, they say that he must, and actually punishment, everything is for reformation. It's for his reformating his sinful tendencies like that. So, so that one kind of is what we can understand about our situation. Our situation is when knowingly, unknowingly we have done so many sins. Right? It's only because of Srila Prabhupada's mercy that we have understood that this is a real situation. We should take to little whatever service we can take, and that would at least have some kind of easier reformation for us. That's what I feel that Lord Krishna will always help us because we have taken shelter of his pure devotee like Sri Prabhupada. Like that. So I wanted to kind of share that, Mata.
Very good, beautiful, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Yes, Shyam Gopal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for the great class. There's one, I don't know whether it's a good question, but I will ask. uh, uh, so now even the paper money is not there, right? We generally use plastic money, bitcoins, or and everything. The wealth which we have is generally is on the online, right? You don't you have shares, but it is online. Tomorrow shares price can go down to like $1, and that will wipe out everything. So in this, actually, this currency is used for material AS or material what you said exchange, right? So like to make it more prosperous the economy. So when we look at this, how this material prosperity is important for spiritual growth, right? Means can we live like before ISKCON was like they were saying that they are more of like begging and living their life, but now it is not so. We are more of grahasthas who are living outside temple. So for us, economic
It's needed.
is important, right? Means we
Yes.
need to take care of our family. So all these things which are there just depending on gold or exchange and all, that is going to degrade us than give us more progress, right?
Yes, Prabhu. That's very true. Yes.
So how is that like, means is moderate or whichever we cannot decide, but is a material progress a hindrance always, or it is not so? Like we see that we need to build temple, we need to have these events, Nityananda Trayadoshi is coming, we need to have event, we need money. And we need have Rath Yatra, we need money for that. So who is going to contribute if we do not progress and make money? So how do we reconcile that?
How do we reconcile, Prabhu? Yeah, we should have enough material comforts and progress as needed, and also use that we can only spiritualize the money that we have. We cannot become sannyasis and we cannot become like the Goswamis. It is not possible for us in this time and age. But with whatever money we have, we can be satisfied and not try to accumulate too much. Well, that is the principle that is given here. Don't try to accumulate too much. Whatever you have and you can give donation for, please do that. But instead of hoarding out of greed by gambling and other untruthful means, whatever we have, we can keep reserve for our own expenses. At the same time, we can also donate. But the point Prabhupada makes again and again is that he's not asking us to give up our material activities. Material activities, providing for the family, getting a salary, all that we have to do. There's no questions about it. It has to be there, but only thing is we should know our limits where we are not hoarding too much. And by Krishna's mercy, if you're getting a lot of money, then invest that money in Krishna consciousness. That's all. Like we have some doctors who are making a lot of money. So they build temples, they give grand donations and things like that. That way, they are not getting attracted to that wealth. They are ready to give away the wealth. The more we donate, the more our possessiveness for the wealth decreases actually. And then when the more we learn to give away, actually our give away without the sense of proprietorship, thinking, okay, this is for Krishna. That will refine our consciousness in the long run. But yeah, some material progress is necessary. Nobody is telling us to stop material progress. It is needed, like you mentioned, especially in this time and age, everybody is grasta. We need material progress. There's no questions about it. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah.
May I add little, Mata?
Yeah, please, please,
Okay.
please.
See, I'll tell you, it's a little personal. When I started practice back in 1981 in Africa, I graduated in India and then migrated to Africa. I came across some Prabhupada Maharaj message like, that one should make Lord Krishna partner in your business. So, I said, I would donate some money to the temple. So I started with about 100 Kenyan shilling that time, because practice was starting like. Then I saw that every month the practice is increasing.
Yeah, I know.
Then I was still kind of, low-key that I was not increasing my donation. Still, I continued like that. And then I realized that, I should have increased this like that. And they were collecting money here in Los Angeles the other day. They came from Mayapur for, donations like that. So then I asked them that, can I give this in installments like that? They said, yeah, monthly like that. So for years, just like we pay income tax, right? Income tax automatically deducted. So why not? Why not just put this one and just
I know.
regularly, whatever is
Monthly
comfortable
donation, yearly donation, $1 a
Yeah.
day, so many donation schemes.
Yeah, that's all. That's how at least you can feel that, my money is not wasted somewhere. Although we don't know what are the calamities which can come tomorrow. All these hospital bills, this, that, insurance, they are increasing so much like that. So I think even Chaitanya Charitamrita also mentions that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells someone that, these guys donating everything. There is a
take care of his money. He asks an accountant to monitor his expenses.
That's right. Yeah. So we should be kind of legible in our sense, and also kind of our own satisfaction. That I have children for higher education. To make one son doctor costs about $500,000.
Yes.
So we should think on those practical terms also. That's what I feel. And whatever comfortable you feel, you can monthly donate like that. So that's what I kind of practice like that. Thank you, Mata.
And Krishna is very interesting the way he reciprocates. I mean, I've seen this many times. When you donate, he gives 3 times back somehow in some form. Not that I'm donating so that I can get 3 times back, but I'm just seeing that as a pattern. It happens in many people's life, not just in my life. I've probably seen it very rarely, but in many people's life, my friends' lives, I've seen when they donate very lovingly, willingly, somehow an arrangement is made to give back 3 times. Krishna, he has mysterious ways of dealing with his devotees. Yeah.
And we should teach our children to do that also, Mata. When you start earning, also make some donations regularly on regular basis. That will kind of, ensure that they will not be influenced by the bad influence of the money.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. The more
Thank
we
you.
donate willingly, the less attached we are to that money, actually.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very good. Okay. So, anything else? I saw so many chat. I didn't even
But
open the chat. That's good.
Mataji, can I just finally add one question, Mataji? Now there's a new
Yes.
fashion in I don't know, in India at least, that Akshay Tritiya. You'll see people, whether they have money or not, they just steal or grab and then go to their day to buy gold. You know, when we studied this, it looks like that they are going to go and buy the influence of Kali, like. This
So
you
true.
can, you cannot imagine. I'm not exaggerating. You cannot imagine the way even the people who are in the economically very poor state also, they will go and they'll go and use their gold and put it in the to Panwala somewhere. They get money and then they go to buy gold on that particular day, thinking that they are going to get more gold.
Oh, good.
I-
Yes.
Yes, Mataji, this really, like the what I'm talking about is the thirst for buying gold is automatically, it has increased in the land where Bhakti was on top one point of time. I don't know what kind of effect they will get. What do you think about this, Mataji?
Yeah, this is very sad. It is also a sort of gambling only, where instead of going to the this gambling place where you put in some money and then what is that? You just pull the rod and then there's so many things and then it gives you some extra money. Instead of that, they are thinking that if I go and invest some money and get some gold, I'm going to multiply my money. It's a sort of gambling only, it's think.
So the two effect, Mataji, gambling plus gold,
Gold, yeah.
desire
The
for
effect
gold.
of Kali. Yeah, desire
Yeah,
for
effect of Kali
gold.
is that it's twice it is here. I don't know. It's marketing technology and made people crazy out here.
And also it is the jewelers, the jewelry people who are just doing some marketing stunt. It has nothing to do with Akshay Tritiya, right?
Yeah,
Akshay
it is
Tritiya.
nothing. You're
Yeah.
supposed to give donations to poor people, anything
Poor
that is white
people,
rice.
yeah, or
Yeah,
just give some
some
food.
waste. We used to give some waste, some curd rice, at least even Annadana
Yeah,
in terms of food.
Annadani, yeah,
Suddenly
that's
everything changed. Now, after reading Bhagavatam, whenever I go, I see the gold shops. I think it is a house of Kali, so better don't even go there. That's where the gold is unusually stacked, Mataji. So you should, if you put that in your mind, you won't even look at the gold shops, particularly for ladies. That's how I practice.
That's true. That's true.
Hare
And when
Krishna.
we see jewelry, automatically, because of the training in Krishna consciousness, whatever jewelry, gold, not gold, artificial, whatever, we immediately, our consciousness should be trained in a way that we think, oh, how beautiful Krishna will be in this jewelry, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so everything should be
That
of
is why
it.
in our temples, all gold jewelries, the king, best things were given to the temples. That is why it
Temple,
is
yeah.
accumulated in all temples, Mataji. But there also people started stealing now. So
So
even
sad.
the kings were we are not, you take MS, she pledged all her money and gave such beautiful ornaments, gold ornaments to Balaji, Tirupati Balaji. You can take many people are like that, Mataji. But
Yeah,
I don't know. Common people are now disturbed here. Gold is the authority, gold is prestige and all that, and they're making a lot of mistakes.
that's true.
So I don't know how to look at it, but whenever I go to even talk to people, I do tell, but nobody, they think, look, this is it is their pride to have gold. So you cannot remove that pride. It is very strong here in this area.
Very strong. Very, very
Yes,
strong.
yes.
But I think Mataji, I think gold investment is really good investment. It is always growing. So if someone is taking gold for
Especially,
investment, they should
especially
take it
currently,
once.
Prabhu.
Yes.
Mataji, I'm thinking that Kali is getting stronger as I see the stronger gold
Yeah,
prices.
correct. Stronger gold and silver prices
But even
going like
Prabhupada said
peaking.
that you deal in gold, right? So, you should buy some gold, one coin every year, and then keep it there. So, it might
Yeah,
pay you worth more than what you bought for.
yeah, yeah, that's true. And we can use it eventually in Krishna service. Yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So if someone has, let's say, 100 gold coins, and they, as per this 50% donation thing, if someone sincerely believes, let me give that much to the service of the Hare Krishna movement or whatever, then the 50% that they give away, let's say, then remaining 50% still the Kali effects will remain, or it will be nullified.
No, the remaining, see, whatever they are using for their daily income, everything they will, for their basic needs they're going to use. The remaining in that 50% they will give as donation, and the remaining 50%, that 25% is for other people, relatives, and the remaining 25 is for emergency fund. That's how they do it. But yes, the wealth is purified for sure. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we can end here. Panchakalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, devotees.